I'll introduce Daniel Miller from Texas National Movement. Daniel has been a tremendous help to me to bring this legislation forward, but also talk about courage and perseverance in the midst of much adversity against him. Has stood strong for many decades. And I want him to be able to come here and explain to you about the virtual hearing that he will be helping to put on. Daniel Miller.
Well, hello. My name is Daniel Miller, and I am president of the Texas Nationalist Movement. I am not a legislator, but I am here to deliver a message from the people who put the legislators here in this building. On August the 24th, 1996, I personally pledged to work for the political, cultural, and economic independence of Texas. That personal pledge led to the formation of our organization in 2005, and the formation of that organization has brought us together today. At the beginning of this legislative session, Representative Biedermann brought the discussion of Texas becoming a self-governing independent nation to its next phase by filing House Bill 1359. This legislation did not propose independence, nor was it to give the people of Texas an up or down vote on withdrawing from the Union, or as it's more commonly referred to as TEXIT. Rather, it gave the people of Texas an opportunity to express their political will at the ballot box on merely forming a legislative committee to begin the process of planning how an orderly exit from the Union could occur. From day one, this legislation, Representative Biedermann, his colleagues, the TNM, and the entirety of the TEXIT movement have come under a barrage of misinformation, slurs, and aggression from the media and a political establishment who have actively fought placing such a fundamental question of governance in the hands of the people. We have seen Texas voters, constituents of every elected official in this building, ridiculed, minimized, lied to, lied about, mistreated, dismissed, and vilified. Yet, our movement and our ranks have steadily grown. Even with the thousands upon thousands of calls and visits both to district offices and here at the Capitol, the chairman of the State Affairs Committee, Chris Patty, refused to even schedule this bill for a hearing, squelching the voice of the people. It is rare for a single piece of legislation to receive this much of an outpouring of support, but yet be denied its day. And to this very day, Chairman Patty has ignored the pleas of Texans who have done all but beg for this bill to be heard. And he has not scheduled it for a hearing, effectively killing it for this session. The only reason to not give this legislation a public hearing is to perpetuate the lie that TEXIT supporters are old, white, and uneducated. In short, the political establishment doesn't want the world to see the true face of TEXIT. And it's because of this failure to respect the wishes of the people and at a minimum give House Bill 1359 its day for a public hearing, we took the unprecedented step of allowing stakeholders to record and submit their testimony for a virtual committee hearing. To our knowledge, nothing like this has ever been done before. On May 3rd, we invited anyone who would have testified in an actual hearing to submit their video testimony, and the response has been overwhelming. It shatters the common misconceptions about TEXIT supporters and should serve as a warning to the legislators who were so quick to dismiss these people, their constituents. If this testimony were given in an actual committee hearing, House Bill 1359 would go down as the most testified bill in legislative history. All of the testimony currently submitted, which will be live streamed after this press conference, played back to back, will be in excess of 15 hours and counting. The testimony includes men and women, ages 14 to 89. There are farmers, ranchers, teachers, doctors, nurses, lawyers, engineers, oil and gas workers, police officers, and other first responders. It includes current and former elected officials, current and former federal workers. They are blue collar, white collar, business owners, and hardworking Texans. It includes 2 former CIA agents and veterans from every branch and every armed conflict since World War II. There are Republicans, Democrats, and independents, from the highly political to the apolitical. Every socioeconomic group and every ethnic background is fairly and accurately represented. There are native Texans and Texans by choice. There are Texans living abroad. It also includes well-wishers, from the Londoner who campaigned for Brexit to a young man from Jerusalem who looks to Texas to set a leadership example for the rest of the world and champion the cause of freedom, liberty, and independence. And there is the heart-wrenching testimony from the father of a young man who was ruthlessly murdered as a result of the federal government's failure on our southern border. And while these people may seem to have very little in common, they were definitely united in several key areas. First, their universal praise and admiration for Representative Biedermann and his fellow legislators who championed their right to vote to begin the TEXIT process. They count you as heroes. They count you as heroes simply for believing in their right to determine their political destiny. They were also universal in their love of their families, friends, neighbors, and Texas, as well as their strong belief in the principles of liberty and a constitutional Republican form of government. Second, they universally expressed their alarm over the course of the federal government, its failures on the border and immigration, the economic imbalances experienced by Texans as a part of the federal system, which serves to drive our most vulnerable citizens into poverty, and the clear and present danger to our fundamental rights posed by the current ideologues in control of Washington, D.C., who believe that amendments are not absolute. Third, everyone, no matter whether they are for TEXIT or undecided on the issue, made it very clear that they simply wanted the right to vote on it as guaranteed by Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas Constitution. They were also clear that they view any impediment to their ability to vote on this issue as a trampling of their fundamental and inalienable right to reform, alter, or abolish their form of government, and will judge anyone hindering House Bill 1359 in such a light. And finally, the people of Texas are tired of being treated like they are too stupid or ignorant to make their own decisions about how they are governed. They are tired of being dismissed, mischaracterized, vilified, and denied. They are tired of gestures in the form of tersely worded resolutions and lawsuits, and they are tired of seeing time carved out in a short legislative session for mustaches and mermaids, while they're being told there is no time to address giving them a vote to determine their political destiny. The fact is, the political leadership in this state is afraid to put this issue to the voters for one simple reason. If the people of Texas are asked to choose between reclaiming their right of self-government and a federal government that has failed Texans time and time and time again, they will choose TEXIT in overwhelming numbers. And it is not too late to right this wrong that has been perpetrated against the people of Texas. Legislators can join these heroes and join our call, as we call now for Governor Abbott, to add House Bill 1359, or at a minimum this language, to the call for the anticipated special session in September. As we head into this next election cycle, the people have made it clear that they want a vote on TEXIT, and anyone seeking office will be judged solely on their support, opposition, or lack of support on House Bill 1359. They have been clear. There will either be a referendum on TEXIT or a referendum on the elected officials who stood in the way of the people and their right to vote. So in conclusion, as we get ready to enjoy some further remarks and get ready for this virtual testimony, let me say this, is that in my 25 years of service to the cause of Texas independence, listening to, collecting this virtual testimony has been a privilege. It's been a privilege to be a part of giving a voice to the voiceless and a champion to those who have been unjustly maligned and silenced. TEXIT supporters will not go away. They have been given a voice and will not stop until they get a choice.